I've just always been like, oh, I'm gonna like get my Muppet friends together and we're gonna make the thing that we like.
It's that.
And if people kind of stay out of the way enough, maybe other Muppets will like it. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Michael.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited and nervous to be across the table from you.
You have like the biggest amazing hit play on Broadway ever by my dear friend Cola Scola. And you directed out of that play. And I've seen it like 4 times now. And I try to see your work as many times as possible. What does it feel like to have this crazy thing be like in the zeitgeist in a way that is kind of unprecedented for a play?
I mean, I think the nature of this whole conversation is going to just be staring at each other and loving each other because there is admiration. Thank you. I'm working on receiving compliments. What it's like is, I hope, something similar to what your massive, beloved, heartbreaking, beautiful Broadway smash hit musical is like, which is we made the thing we wanted to make in a small room with the best people the way we wanted to make it. And somehow that has like seems to continue to bring joy to people, and here we are.
But that's like always the way it is. It's like when you start out to like build the blockbuster, it won't be.
It doesn't. Or in my experience,
yeah,
I don't
me
know
neither.
how to do it.
It's like,
I don't know how to do it.
I've just always been like, oh, I'm gonna like get my Muppet friends together and we're gonna make the thing that we like.
It's that.
And if people kind of stay out of the way enough, maybe other Muppets will like it.
It's exactly that. Like when we started downtown, our rehearsal room had like 11 people in it. Maximum.
Then you get to your like Broadway meet and greet and there are like 300 people.
Yeah. But then our job, I think, I mean, I'm curious what you think about this, but like our job becomes welcome 300 people. We're so happy you're here. 11 people. Let's stay honest about what this thing is.
Yeah.
And let's like actually try to get fiercer about what it is and how it was made.
Do you like have your company of designers and collaborators and trusted friends that you keep, or do you find that you want to like work with new people based on the project? And how do you like form your tribe?
I think there's an anecdote that maybe we should just give it to Hal Prince or Mike Nichols or one of those boys about like
Boys.
always having like someone old, someone new, someone, you know, and I really believe in that. So like on O'Mary, there were a couple of designers who are like my people. Dots, Daniel Kluger, Chaucy, and there's a couple of people that I had never worked with before. Like Cole was like, I have this costume designer who I love, who I do TV with. Do you want to meet her? And it's Tony. We're not
Tony nominee.
You know?
It's amazing.
So to me, like the thing that can be alchemical, and certainly that was alchemical about O'Mary, was like some deep collaborations and some like, I don't know, what do you think? How do we make this better?
Yeah.
I mean, I have the same question for you because I know you and Dane have
Yeah.
such a deep partnership.
Yeah.
And I've like never, ever seen that, or frankly, any director-designer collaboration rendered so fully as I did in Maybe Happy Ending. I mean, I saw that show, and like when I could stop crying, the thing that I was thinking about was like how total it felt to me, like what the two of you brought. Was that show made with your people, or was it a mix?
You know, obviously like there was a collaboration with the writing team, which was incredible, but they brought in something pretty proofed and baked, you know, and then they translated it and we made changes and shaped and stuff like that. But in terms of like the overall synesthesia of the piece, like Dane and I really started together on that, I mean, years ago, and that's how we work. I mean, we were high school roommates, so we've been like literally like bunk beds across from each other when we were 16, being like, what if we did Floyd Collins in a real cave? You know what I mean? Like, so we kind of at this point share like a brain and a text thread and a working pressure cooker that is, I guess, unique. I guess. I mean, I know nothing other than that, and I feel so safe with him. And like, we share an aesthetic and an interest in kind of like surprise and like relentlessness. We call it zero tolerance. Like we want it to seem like impossible, and it nearly like kills our crews every time. By the way, we have the best crew on. Maybe I mean, what they're doing backstage is insane.
Imagine.
But we like went to Tokyo and like locked ourselves in a room together and like built that show and redesigned it and talked about how it moved and how what we wanted it to be. And you know, he's a director and I am a designer,
Yeah.
and we have this like yin yang thing. And you know, I like when choosing projects, like, I'm like, what do you think of this? Like, because it's implicit to me that like I will do it with him, even if he can't do it. Like, there've been a couple occasions where he's been like unavailable, and yeah,
He's like still a thought.
yeah, like what I directed a play years ago, and like I ended up designing the set with just like input from him because I was like, I don't know how to work with somebody else. But then the rest of the team was like people he liked, people I liked, people we had worked together, new people who we felt would fit the bill and get the aesthetic, and his work with like George Reeve, he had worked with on Hercules, and he was like, you have to meet George, he'd be great, and that's kind of how we approached him.
I mean, I saw it and I remember like turning to my husband at the end and I was like, there's nothing more sexy than rigor. Like, I just felt like you got everybody in that building to show up to work and to show up to work on the same show. And that's so hard to do. I have heard, you know, the word on the streets about your show is like Michael Arden believed in something fiercely for a long time. This is gonna make me cry. Michael Arden believed in something fierce. I'm crying about Michael's show. No, I think it is the thing that keeps us up at night, right?
Absolutely.
Is like you get a pebble in your shoe about something that is weird as hell, made by some genius brain that you've never heard of before.
Right.
And you get obsessed with it. And that is at least like what I hear about how your show got made.
Well,
and
I mean, it was like next to impossible to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it was like, oh no, but if we could just like get to one public performance of it, you know what I mean? Like, please, like, if people will like see what I see, and we all believed in it so much. I mean, it felt like St. Crispin's Day. Like, it was like each designer felt that way, and they were like, we're gonna ride or die. And even if it only like runs one performance, which we kind of at the beginning were like, oh, like it might.
Yeah.
We at least made the thing that we believed in, and pushed it forward, like kind of no matter what. And it does like keep you up at night, and it gnawed at me. And like through COVID, it was like, how do we do? And so we just like rewrote and took the lessons from COVID and put it in.
Well, and it feels to me, I mean, it is a way that our shows, we've talked about this a tiny bit, but like our shows are kind of unlikely cousins in this way, because it does feel
Our Korean cousin.
like sometimes I stand in the back of the Lyceum and I watch 900 people scream laugh, and I'm like, it is a miracle. It is an actual miracle that like this weird thing that we thought was going to run for 8 seconds, and frankly would have been satisfied had it run for 8 seconds, because exactly as you said, we made what we wanted to make, is on Broadway, and is on Broadway being supported by like people on vacation from Indiana, which I think that both of these shows are so weird.
Yeah,
like, really weird.
But I actually think like when you're trying to like make something for everyone, like you're making something for no one.
It's
and
not
now
possible.
like, because you were like, oh, let's like explore fully the like insane radical mind of Cola Scola on stage, and your brilliant brain with how out of the kind of norm it is. Like the way you think about things is so beautiful. I'm so inspired by it, like to watch the projects you choose to do, the people you work with, all of that. And then now it's like that somehow lands you in the mainstream, and congrats, like you've gotten a bazillion Tony Awards, and you made that happen. You have like offered them up on a platter to the mainstream by doing what they do and being like unrelenting about their queerness.
Cliches exist for a reason, right? And I do think that cliche is like the more specific you can get, the more universal you can get.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing to trust when like money and eyes get involved.
Sure.
But like I know we just came to this table to compliment each other, but it's sincere. Like every single thing I have seen you do ever, I'm like, oh, it's like one vision. Like somehow that guy got everybody on board with one thing. And that is,
I just drug everybody. That's basically
you're not
it.
supposed to say that.
I'm sorry.
But,
no.
but like that's hard to do in a basement at NYU. You repeatedly are doing it, and in the most visible way, and in such a what feels from the outside in such an uncompromised way, and in such a generous way.
Oh, thanks.
Is like I really do feel. I mean, I feel so weepy these days, but like I feel like hope. Which is a wild thing to feel, and I feel that way looking at Cole and looking at what we made, and frankly, like it's a good season. It's like a good season of
so
weird
cool.
people
It's
making
so unique and so
specific things.
So kind of varied, and there's such diversity in the offerings. It's really cool. So I just traveled basically like across the globe to see your work again. And here we are, which I saw like 5 times here and just saw again at the National.
You have to get a hobby.
I do. I really need some help. And like some more money
Yeah.
to pay for the tickets that I buy.
so sorry.
But it's amazing to see that you do so many different things. Like you choreograph, you direct. I mean, what don't you do? And is it one brain? Do you like take off this brain and put on another? How do you like decide like which door you want to enter in?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know at all what it's like to do more than one thing. So I will just have to explain this to you, I guess.
Okay, please.
The cheesy answer is that like when I was a, kid in Into the Woods Junior or whatever, like the thing that I felt sure about was
which is just the first act.
It is just the first act.
It's like just the first act, and that's it. Which honestly worked.
Yeah, we should do that with every musical. But the thing that I knew for sure was like, I want to be a creature of the theater. Like I want to make theater. I want to make live stuff for people. And I want to be around show people. And that has had a million different faces. And as I am in the incredibly fortunate position to like get to think more about what I want to do, like to me, the question is, have I done it before? Because I want the answer to be no.
Yep.
And like, do I believe in it? And is it people that are going to challenge me? And it's another thing that I love about your show. Like when I saw your show, I was like, oh, this could only be theater. Like this show is like, hey, everybody, we're in a room together. You couldn't see this at home with your underpants on. Anything that is going to make me feel like I'm making theater, then I don't really care what I'm called. And I don't totally know the difference between directing and choreography, honestly. I'm very stubborn about doing many things.
It's like humans moving through space and emotion.
Yeah, and
problems. And it's like the movement of Oh Mary is so incredible. Having seen it just again with Titus Burgess. It's like the most miraculous performance ever. And how that play, which in many ways like a very traditional farce structure.
It's
like
a play.
It moves like a ballet. I mean, it's so incredible how the movement of that is shaped, and I just see your body in that, and that's so cool
that to me, and I never
watch.
That's very nice. I never once thought about that. I was just directing a play.
Sure.
But I think in some ways, I mean, I'm curious how you would answer this because you do 900 different things. But like, I just think like, does this actually need me?
Right.
Am I the person to do this? Like when I read Cole's play, I was like, me, us, me. We do this together.
I mean, this is a problem. Like, I'll read wonderful things or listen to brilliant music, and I'm like, if I don't like immediately like know, oh, I have to tell the story or I know how to, then I'm like, I don't want to f it up for them.
Totally.
Like because I will.
Yes.
I will, and I'm sure that I will like hubristically like be like, I should do this for whatever reason.
It always gets you in trouble though. Michael.
Sam.
Why maybe happy ending? Why did you get into it and become obsessed?
Now I'm going to cry.
Broadway. Yeah, I want to know. I actually want to know.
This is just a ploy to get us both to cry early in the morning. When I first got sent the script, I had just opened Once on This Island. This was a while ago, and I had, a couple years prior, lost my grandparents who raised me. I used to build sets in their garage, like, they just like gave up on parking the car in the garage. Luckily, we lived in Texas, so it never rained. But it was like, that was my theater space, and I had to like build all these sets. And so they were very important and influential in my life. And even though they didn't like understand what the hell I was doing there, or maybe never really did, they supported me. And so when I read maybe Happy Ending, I thought, oh my God, this is like spiritually like about them in some way, who they were at the end of their lives. And then they're both now in a different place. And I read it and I thought, oh my God, this is about like the sum of our lives and how we ultimately like, even though we know that every eventuality of love is loss, whether it be death or abandonment or a horrible breakup, loss is the sort of like shadow of love. And I was like completely bowled over by that. I thought it was like the most devastating, saddest thing I had ever read. And yet I felt so hopeful because like after I read it, I was like, oh, well, I was inspired to show up and love the people I love regardless of that. And I think like that is why I fell in love with this piece. I mean, and it has beautiful music And it's such a fascinating world to get to explore visually. And like, you know, I just love like traveling without a passport.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's never been done before.
yeah, I'm gonna try. What's your favorite Broadway house?
Studio 54.
Ooh.
You?
Circle in the Square and the Belasco.
Okay.
Really love it. It's haunted and amazing. What's your favorite Broadway show of all time?
Cabaret. The oncoming Cabaret.
Whoa.
What's yours?
Sam Mendes. My favorite Broadway show of all time. I mean, probably because it was like the first one I saw. I saw the OBC of Rent, and I like lost my freaking mind in mezzanine.
Yeah.
During the like Angel touch me, forget about it.
What's the best directing advice you've received?
The best directing advice I have received is to stay out of the way when you can, and allow people to make their own mistakes and discover things on their own, because dictating an experience is never going to be as interesting as someone stumbling and finding it themselves.
That might be the best. I might have just received the best directing advice.
Well, please give me some. I need some.
One, don't be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not about you. It's about bringing the absolute best out of everyone you've brought together, which is why I love theater.
Yeah. If your directing style were a leading lady, who would it be and why?
I want to give this to my friend Tracy Bennett. Tracy Bennett
Legend.
is a legend. She's a wild time. She's got salt, she's got acid, she's got heat, and she shows up having done her homework.
Mm-hmm.
And I aspire to be that. What about you?
I mean, I'm gonna go with my queen Audra. I got the chance to work with her on a workshop of something, and like, I just remember like laying on the floor with her talking about this, and it was like her ability to like lay on the floor and be completely honest about how the intersection of her life and the character, and then stand up and like sing a high C and be unafraid of how she looked or sounded, and she was like shooting for truth that she didn't think was possible, and that like boldness and kind of like earthiness is what I want to aspire to. Thank you for sitting down with me, and congrats on this season, Oh Mary, and all your Tony nominations. And like, I can't wait. I have tickets to see it again in like 3 weeks.
Thank you, Michael. It is like a genuine pleasure. This meal was terrible.
It was, but we didn't gain any weight
with you. That's true. And I'm genuinely so happy that we get to like be in this together.
Yeah, it's cool. I feel like directors don't often get to intersect.
We never talk.
We're like always
Ever.
like on our own.
Yeah.
So thanks for like being there for me, and I can't wait to see what you can.
I love your show. Thank you.
Before we go, we'd like to thank our brilliant stars, the Museum of Broadway for their partnership, and So-and-Sos for welcoming us into their space. This has been It Takes Two Broadway Conversations. Comment below to let us know what guest you'd like to see next on And That's Showbiz. See you in the comments, and see you next time.